Hello there, and welcome back to War Thunder. And this is my very first battle in a completely stock Chinese Tech 3 P-47, and I think that this battle is really worth showing. Not because I got 8 kills, but because this is an average gameplay and I get a decent result, and the decision making is something that I want to let you have part in terms of that I tell you what I think, what my action is, and why those actions that I do are important in the long run. So first of all, this is a forgotten experience because the last time I stock run at a P-47 was, well, the first were like 6 years ago in the US Tech Tree, of course, in arcade, and the last P-47 that I stock ran was the P-47N, and one of the first battles, if not the first battle, was actually an ace in it, and I made a video about it with god-awful quality. But hey, if you're watching this channel, you're used to bad quality, right? So, first of all, I am climbing, side climbing, but not too much to the side, and I am not going AFK, so that I am always aware of what's happening around me. So the first minute or so, it's okay to not do anything particularly amazing. Just climb, just pump energy into your plane. While you cannot really take up the fight with the best enemy fighters that there are right from the start, patience. Patience is key to success, to victory, to increasing your civil line and RP income, and eventually not suffering from a such as long grind as if you would dive for the very first ground target that you have in sight and then get senselessly shot down. We'll talk about ground targets later on as well, because the P-47 has some amazing armament, and those are 50 cals. And the stock belts are also pretty good for shooting down planes and also racking up the ground targets, because half of the belt is AP only bullets, which doesn't really sound all that amazing, but due to how the ammunition works for aircraft in aircraft to aircraft combat, 50 cals are still very strong. So, this is at least a 5.3 battle rating game, and I'm a 4.7 battle rating stock fighter that doesn't have good energy retention, good energy output from the engine, no fancy armament aside from the amazing 50 cals with a lot of ammunition, 3,400 rounds, and I am now climbing behind my team, and I am, I don't know, is this the description of a quarterback? I don't know. You Americans tell me. But this is where I just climb still behind my team. And if then the enemy fighters get occupied with my fighters, I can interfere. I can be the vulture to get the kills. Very important for stock grinding, because every single aircraft kill means quite a bit in RRB. Do 217 not keeping his altitude, throwing away many of his advantages, and now the other P-47 on my team sets him on fire. I break off the attack run because it would be a straight up stupid kill steal. Yes, I could need it, but you know, I'm not that cheap. I am cheap, but not that cheap. So, and then I see that there is an ME410. He has a clean attack run on my other P-47, which dodges actually the attack, and then I try to dive after him. And so much for keeping your altitude, lol. Yeah, do as I say, not as I do. But, you know, I'm always thinking that I'm smarter than I really am when I then in battle, and sometimes that actually works out, sometimes, strangely enough. And yeah, I'm a bit annoyed because it takes me that much time. BF-109 comes in, and I am now doing this safe self-baiting, and he follows up. And German planes have terrible handling when they go slow, and German handling eventually gets punished. So I do hear this climbing spiral, Spitfire comes in, thank you. And then this BF-109 gets in on the tail of the Spitfire. Can I get guns on him? No, he turns into me, so the ME410 it is. Just as I open fire, he bursts into flames, as all ME410s do. I tried to get a quick tap on him to get the assist, but actually I kind of steal the kill here. The other P-49 comes back and he actually crashes. Well, it seems like the Spitfire damaged him. And then, now, we are in an absolute nightmare position, because this is the absolute dream situation for those two Focke-Wulf 190s. I turn into the first one, presenting the smallest possible silhouette, and he cannot follow this dive through because he would crash. And so, should I go for the Bf-109? I'm looking at the second Focke-Wulf, and I know that he wants to get me. So a quick burst, and I am breaking off, and there he actually comes as ordered. And again, I turn into him. He gets greedy, he gets greedy, he gets greedy. Bad German handling. Thank you. Second one gets in. Again, the Chuck is tough. He can take the hits, and then he looks too long behind him, and I get a good salvo of 50 cals. A single hit is all that we need with that 50 cals, because balanced ammunition, right? So those were 2 kills, and I'm absolutely happy about this. Again, stock plane, stock ammunition, not really experienced on this map, and still I outplayed the Germans hard. Yes, they made some stupid mistakes, but yeah, that's just how it is. But I have taken some serious damage to the engine. While it still is undamaged itself, I have an oil leak, and that forces me back to base. While the Jug can take quite a bit of punishment in contrast to some other more fragile planes, you know, that is something that you really cannot deny is a serious problem, so I have to RTB. This is the only cut that I will make in this entire video. I actually make it back to base, and then voila, editing magic. 3 minutes later, we are ready to go again. At this point in time, the rest of my team, and I really have to say this, made a phenomenal job of containing the enemies, of killing them, and so far 2 enemies are left. I inspect here the cockpit, and sadly no Chinese writings, but I don't know if this plane also got converted to Chinese instructions on you know, all the dials, etc. The Ju-288C gets shot down, and that leaves only the RE-2005, and there is a blind hunt activated. Strong English today, comrade. And we know exactly where he is. Now, as you can see, the enemy team has a bit of points lead, and our entire fighters are lower than the enemy RE-2005. Due to the last time that I played, I'm pretty confident in saying that he could easily wipe my team clean, especially at this altitude. He just has to come for us, and he could wreck us up with all the amounts of ammunition and the kind of firepower, the handling, etc. Even when he is stuck at that altitude advantage, or with that altitude advantage, he is a serious threat. So, what should I do right now? Well, as I said, I can go now ground striking, because 50 cals are pretty hard hitting, and I'd love to have 50 cals instead of more or less any other weapon type that you get on a plane of the same battle rating. I could crack pillboxes, but they take a bit of ammunition. But those light tanks, they look fragile, don't they? And so I go for them. So that's my ultimate goal at first. I'm again looking around. He's still flying away from us or keeping the distance. And yeah, let's see how it goes. Very patient. And here we receive flag from the AAA. Now, a little bit of defensive flying, and they are my priority target because they are posing a direct threat to me. Quick burst from distance, and they are toast. And then a quick burst on a light tank, and he is dead as well. Less than 250 cal rounds for 3 targets expended. If you can hold this ratio, we can equalize the points. So the most important targets are those who blink, and amongst those it depends which one are closest, which one can you easily destroy. And for some of my teammates, if they decide to load bombs and rockets, it's easier for them to go after the pillboxes than to go after the light tanks. I could attack here a bit more aggressively the ground targets, but from experience in the past, I know the second I get greedy in ground striking, I crash. And it seems like I have all the time in the world, and so I use it. There you can see in the turning that the plane is really heavy in contrast to a fully upgraded one. So we will see how this will pay off later. Another light tank and another one. Good stuff right there. And now we are in the lead in terms of points. Very important. And I got rewarded with playing with my team in the beginning by getting 2 kills. Granted, one of them was a slight kill steal, but hey, throw at me the stones whoever didn't do this. So yeah, I turn around, and this is the last light tank, I think, in this section of the map. Again, you can also destroy light pillboxes with the 50 cals, but I think that I can destroy, with the amount of ammunition that I have, many more light tanks compared to actually pillboxes, and they all cost the same amount of tickets, namely 100. That was just a quick burst on an RT because it was on the way, and at the end of the day it also sums up. We'll see this in the results. Now, the difference here between those light tanks and the previous ones is that those light tanks are coming at me, and it is calculated that those AI ground targets, the light tanks, have the strongest armor in the front that actually can withstand 50 cals, so don't have the greatest success on this run. Doesn't really matter. So when we pass the tank column, we patiently extend a little bit further, and then we pull up and turn around to have another go at this tank column from the rear. This light tank that I just marked is not my primary target because he would cost me too much energy. It's a tricky shot and I am in the risk of crashing. And again, look how easily we can rack up here some targets. That ridgeline here was something that I didn't account for, and so the rest of the tank line could sneak behind it and be in safety. But again, we have all the time in the world. I'm still observing where the RE 2005 is. Again, he still can win the game easily, but now he is under pressure. So there are multiple reasons why I go here for the ground targets. First of all, I can. It gives me Silverline and RP, but I also prioritize them so that my team gains tickets in contrast, or gains a ticket lead, shall I say. I never can really fight effectively an RE 2005 under his terms, but I can force him down so that he is more vulnerable for the rest of my team that now went back to base and rearmed, repaired, refueled. They can now climb back, and even if I would die right now, the rest of my team then have a much better chance of actually gaining the victory. And after all, for all the stuff that I already killed, I then get even more RP and silver lines when winning rather than losing. So it is really worth going for the victory if you want to stock grind something. And when racking up that many ground units because the enemy misplays and gives me all the time that I need, then so be it. I happily take it. So this is the last light tank, and after this I have in mind to go after the pillboxes, and I still have 1800 rounds left to do so, and it is only one light pillbox that I would require to destroy. But in fact, the auto win condition kicks in and I get the final blow, as well as the Thunderer Award, which gives me an extra 7,500 silver lines due to the fact that I have a premium account. And I only have a 10% silver line booster. This is a stock, or was a stock, tech tree plane. And now I gained nearly 60,000 silver lines, but more importantly, nearly 11,000 RP. And look at the silver line difference. So I gained only 6,000 more silver lines for a substantial amount more of destroyed ground targets that were also very important. Use the strength of the plane that you fly and you can have success if you work together with your team, if you really try, and if you don't throw away your plane for the first ground target that there is. you can see it works even with a P-47, and a lot of players say that this is a bad aircraft because they don't know better. I'm not the world's greatest pilot, but I know my P-47s. And look for what I go for the flight performance, so for the fuselage, wings repair, and also the cover as well as the airframe before I go for the radiator, because I think that the energy retention is one of the big strengths of the P-47, and I do not even need to upgrade here the weaponry. I don't go for the bomb loadout, I don't go for the 50 cals, because those stock 50 cals are everything that I need. So that's been it for today. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening. Please give this video a like if it did, subscribe if you want to see more, let me know in the comment section if this was helpful for you, and we'll see each other on the battlefields, on the waves, and in the skies of War Thunder.